So when we see Camille Vasquez and Ben Chu in these interviews, they reiterate that Johnny's goal was to restore his reputation, not to win money. If you even comment on things on the internet, people will be like, oh, all of Johnny Depp's bots are here. And I'm like, well, I'm here, I'm sitting here, I'm a real person. I'm not part of anything orchestrated. I don't think he's gonna jeopardize his entire career to lie for Amber Heard. I heard that there were 2 Dr. Spiegels and they got the wrong one. Could that have happened? No. Hello, my name is Deb Kielmeyer. I'm a board-certified psychiatrist who has been covering the Johnny Depp vs. Amber Heard defamation case, and I am back to make a follow-up video to essentially update everyone on some things that have happened since the case, and also to answer some questions and comments that I got on my prior videos. So if you like this video, please make sure to like, comment, subscribe, turn on notifications, all of the above, you know the deal. So first off, I'm not 12 years old, I'm in fact 30 years old. I will be 31 later this month. I'm not exceptionally bright or anything. I promise I'm not Doogie Howser. I just went, I finished high school, then I did college, then I did med school, then I did residency. I didn't take any breaks, and I graduated on my 30th birthday. So that is how I am a board-certified psychiatrist now. And as far as my youthful appearance, I mostly have genetics to thank, but wearing sunscreen every day goes a pretty far way. So I do suggest that if you want to look more youthful than perhaps you already do. Other comments I got some comments on vocal fry, so I am linking a video below to show why that is sort of a sexist comment to make. There are actually other languages that using vocal fry is part of like speech and pronunciation of words. So it's not something anyone needs to be concerned about. I will also be linking the shirt I was wearing in my last video below. That was the shirt that said, "You are bad for my mental health." It's made by Dream Clothing, and 10% of the proceeds when you purchase that shirt actually go to support mental health foundations, so that's great. I also wanted to thank everyone who made supportive comments either on my videos or DM'd me on Instagram, especially George Butcher. You wrote the sweetest comments on all of my videos, and it really meant a lot to me. And of course, there's always haters, but to be great is to be divisive. I also got this comment from Mac saying he wanted to congratulate me and call out my excellent YouTube technique, but I have to shout out some other people for that. My boyfriend Jonah is my technical expert who helps me with all the technical aspects of making my videos. And then my little sister Grace, she is the editor, and she was the primary person who encouraged me to make YouTube videos. She's been begging me actually for many years. So she does the actual hard work behind these videos. So I owe how great these videos are to other people that aren't just me, and we are all welcome to any feedback that makes sense. As far as where to go from here, I actually already have several follow-up videos planned that are going to hit directly on some questions or comments that came up on the videos that I already made. The first one will be addressing whether suicide is preventable, because I did make a statement in one of my videos where I said suicide isn't preventable. I really meant it like in the context of the situation. I definitely didn't mean to say suicide is never preventable. So I will expand on that. And then another thing that I wanted to address is the existence of the diagnosis bipolar 2. Hint, I'm not a fan. And then there were some comments, questions on tardive dyskinesia as a side effect from antipsychotics or psychotropic medications in general. So I will be making a video on each of those things. And after those videos, I plan on making, obviously, more videos, but I am always welcome to hearing from you what you would like. So please feel free to comment and let me know what you would like to see me address in a video. And if it makes sense, I will do that. So on my last video, I did make a comment where I did a little bit of a post-trial update and I addressed some things. But what I would imagine is most people did not see that comment. So I'm going to sort of reiterate some thoughts since the trial and then some things that I really wanted to address. So first off, like many of you, I was really happy with the verdict. I considered it a win for Johnny. I know that, obviously the jury, they sided with Johnny on all 3 counts of his defamation case. They did side with Amber in one of her counts on, the countersuit. But overall, I really felt that it was a very big win for Johnny, and clearly he agreed, and clearly everyone agreed except for the very biased media. So I think, he was successful in what he set out to do, which was to have people see his side of the story and understand that he is not the abuser that Amber made him out to be, that essentially cost him his career and his mental health for numerous years. So since the verdict, Elaine, Amber's head lawyer, has been making the rounds, going on some, talk shows. I'm going to link one of her interviews below. I think, mostly the argument she's trying to make, because she's, coming out and saying, I believe Amber, this was so wrong, the outcome of this case. She mainly just blamed the way the case was handled here, and she kept referencing Johnny's loss in the UK case, and she was saying that, they saw different evidence and that evidence was suppressed here. Well, if you spend time on the internet, you see sort of a different reason for why Johnny perhaps lost the UK case. And that's because if you go on Google and you look this up, you will see that Judge Andrew Nichol, the judge of the case in the UK of Johnny Depp versus The Sun, the news source that, publicly defamed him, he is tied to The Sun. So you can easily look that up with Google. So the thought of many of us who are Team Johnny is that that judge was biased and he never stood a fair shot in that case to begin with. So more recently, like for me, the past today, yesterday, Johnny's lawyers have finally been interviewing themselves, and they've had the chance to respond to Elaine's antics, like how she was saying that there was an orchestrated campaign on behalf of Johnny Depp. If you even comment on things on the internet, people will be like, oh, all of Johnny Depp's bots are here. And I'm like, well, I'm here, I'm sitting here, I'm a real person. I'm not part of anything orchestrated. I just happened to follow this case from before, it hit the legal system in the courts of Virginia, started realizing that I didn't believe Amber Heard, that I thought Johnny Depp was victimized. And then when I started watching the trial, I felt strongly enough about this and Johnny Depp's innocence and the fact that Johnny Depp was a victim to start an entire YouTube channel about it. So, the media, Amber's defenders can state whatever they want, but the evidence is quite clear that just a lot of us were really touched by, Johnny's victimization and felt really strongly about what was happening. And another thing is that, one of Johnny's head lawyers, Camille, got partner. This is news. I had predicted that, so I was very happy with myself that she did get partner. So when we see Camille Vasquez and Ben Chu in these interviews, they reiterate that Johnny's goal was to restore his reputation, not to win money. And they even hint that, Johnny and Amber might end up settling so that Amber doesn't have to pay Johnny the $8.35 million that she owes him if she agrees to drop her appeal and let this whole thing go. It seems, what's most important for Johnny is really just moving on with his life. And now he has the opportunity to do that because a jury has found him innocent of these claims, lies, accusations that Amber made about him. So I think he really just wants to move on with his life. And if we look at this, trial, Johnny, Amber, everything, it's wild to me that the Amber defenders are buckling down when Johnny is literally willing to give up the $8.35 million potentially to just make this go away. Amber would never do that. And her excuse would be I'm a victim and I need the money and or I'm going to donate it, or whatever lies, right? But it's so clear. If Johnny was truly like a narcissist, as he was accused of by Amber's team, he would absolutely, go after Amber for every single penny. And in no way would he be considering letting go of the money he was awarded. So down below, you can also access the 2 links and see the interviews with Camille Vasquez and Ben Chu. If you are interested, they're linked below. So another thing that I would like to share, which is something that was already in my pinned comment on my other video, is that I was alerted by one of you to this excellent paper written by an academic forensic psychologist, and they explained essentially how to assess the credibility of testimony of alleged intimate partner violence and why they find Amber to be of low credibility. So I'm linking that below so that you can read that. This is a paper I found was incredibly helpful and well written. So the biggest topic that came up in the comments of my last video was, well, a lot of people were very upset that I said I didn't care about the Goldwater rule. So I'm going to read one comment so you can get an idea of what the comments were like. This was from Nicole Murray. She said, I lost a lot of respect for you when you got to the portion about gatekeeping psychiatrists. Gatekeeping is done in all professions and could be seen more prominently with some of the other experts in this trial. And more importantly, the Goldwater rule. It's unethical to give a diagnosis or professional opinion of someone you haven't personally evaluated, period. It makes it exponentially worse to promote said opinions in a court of law. APA or not, it's basic ethics. And then we have another comment with an opposing view. Sorry, I don't know how to pronounce your name, but this individual stated, I think the only value of the Goldwater rule, which really could be applied to any expert witness, is having to state how an expert is basing their opinions. Direct examination versus observation of publicly available material versus hearsay. Previous experience versus research personally done versus reading others' research, especially in the mental health arena. Even I know that a patient can tell you anything. It doesn't necessarily mean it's a fact. It could be confirmation of self-delusions. Tell a lie enough, people start believing it. Even the liar may start believing it, thus coming across as a truth. So, I didn't really agree with the first comment, clearly, and I do agree with the second comment. In general, I want to put out there, I am not the only psychiatrist that doesn't care for the Goldwater rule. I would say actually about 50% of psychiatrists believe it is outdated. So it's not just me over here being unethical. So, in fact, Clinical Psychiatry News just published this op-ed which presents a strong argument that we need to progress beyond the Goldwater rule. I'm going to link it down below for anyone who's interested. So this is another opportunity for you to see things from my side of things and maybe understand why I don't believe that the Goldwater rule is helpful or necessary or the best idea going forward. So another article a lot of you probably haven't read is the Dr. Spiegel that was in this case wrote an article that was published in Newsweek about essentially how hard it has been since he testified in this case, how he has been torn apart by the media. Honestly, I really feel bad for him. I do not think, that just because someone maybe isn't the best expert witness, that they deserve to be slaughtered by the public. I did get one comment that resonated with me that says, I feel like Dr. Spiegel is the type of psychiatrist that is great to have if you get to know him and probably does great work, but is awful on the stand. And yes, I agree with that comment. So if you're interested, you can read Dr. Spiegel's article. It's linked below once again. Another thing that came up in the comments quite a lot, I will read this comment by Hot Mess to Hot Mom Open Book. She writes, did you see the video with the hot mic of him telling Elaine that he was going to lie in his testimony? Is there anything he shouldn't lie about? This was referencing Dr. Spiegel, of course. So this came up because people believe that Dr. Spiegel was caught on Amber's lawyer's mic offering to lie in evidence. But this is false. He was most likely saying, rely, I found the TikTok, and I'm going to play it for you in a second. And the TikTok is going to state what they think he was saying. But what I think he was saying is, first, I will rely on my testimony, and then, is there something I'm not allowed to know about? So I will play that for you now, and you can make up your mind if you agree with me or the individual who posted the TikTok. So if you didn't catch that, replay it, put your volume up. But yeah, I think he was saying, I will rely on my testimony, and is there something I'm not allowed to know about? I don't think he's going to jeopardize his entire career to lie for Amber Heard. Someone wrote in the comments, and I don't know if this was true, that he made $60,000 for the case. You know, that's not enough for a psychiatrist to jeopardize their career. Maybe someone else, not a psychiatrist. Another thing that came up in the comments a lot, I will read this comment from Tony Marie. I heard that there were 2 Dr. Spiegels and they got the wrong one. Could that have happened? No. I understand that there is someone named David Spiegel on the West Coast. People, wrote that he was an IPV expert, that he looks more put together, that he's associated with an Ivy League on the West Coast. No, I think first off that Amber's team wanted people from the East Coast. Others may not have noticed this, but I did. But all of her expert witnesses, like the psychologist, Dr. Hughes, the psychiatrist, Dr. Spiegel, the ortho, forget his name, but he was from North Carolina. So Dr. Hughes, New York City, Dr. Spiegel, Northern Virginia, actually right by the courthouse area. And then the ortho from North Carolina, which is obviously right by. I think they specifically picked people that were on the East Coast because I think it was cheaper. Johnny had a lot more money to spend on this case. He could go pick the most expert person in the country, afford to fly them over, pay for their hotel, pay for them to be out of work that entire time. Like, it's going to be a lot more expensive to pay Dr. Curry, who lives in California, to be on the East Coast for the entire trial. That means she had to give up all of her other patients, any clinical or teaching or whatever she does, and she has to get compensated for that, right? Amber and her team simply did not have the funds for that, or Amber herself, because that's who the money is coming from. So they had to pick, people that were going to be cheaper. So no, absolutely not do I think that it was the wrong Dr. Spiegel, although maybe, from a sense that the other one could have done a better job. Not that I know anything about him. But no, I think all these decisions were made very deliberately, and I'm sure that they interviewed these people and spoke to them. Like, there's no way in a trial with this much publicity that is this important that they somehow got the wrong psychiatrist. That just didn't happen. And also, I went to residency at VCU in Virginia. So I am familiar with the area. I'm familiar with EVMS, where he teaches at and works at and all of that. And definitely, this wasn't the wrong psychiatrist. So another thing that came up in the comments quite a lot was questions about whether plastic surgery, such as a nose job, could have created Amber's scar tissue in her nose, or people just being like, well, of course she has scar tissue in her nose. She had a nose job. Yes, absolutely. If someone gets a nose job that can create scar tissue in their nose, that would be, consistent with what she had. So that's an option. Cocaine use is an option. Prior injuries having nothing to do with Johnny are an option of contributing factors that could explain the scar tissue in Amber's nose. Something else that came up in the comments was, how important is it to be board certified? Because they made a big deal about, I believe, Dr. Hughes being board certified, Dr. Curry not being board certified, and then, of course, all of the physicians involved were board certified. So I liked the way this comment stated it, which I will read for you now. Honest question, is board certified just another term for gullible? I got the impression from the trial that it really just boils down to paying a fee and taking a quiz. Or does it actually mean something? Thanks in advance. So I can only speak for physicians. I can't speak for, psychologists. I can't speak for other people in healthcare. But for physicians specifically, our boards are way harder than anyone else's. Actually, when I went to medical school, you had to pass 3 sets of board exams just to graduate medical school. Then you have to pass another board exam during your intern year generally, which is your first year of residency, to become a licensed physician. And then at the end of residency, you have to take a board certification in your specialty if you want to say that you are a board certified blank. So in my case, if I want to say that I'm a board certified psychiatrist, I had to take all those other boards, and then when I finished residency, I took psych boards, and now I can go on here and at the beginning of my video be like, I'm a board certified psychiatrist. Now, what does that really mean? Well, here's the thing. First off, not every psychiatrist, and I'll just talk about my own field, is board certified, because not all jobs require it. And personally, I think if you made it through medical school, you passed those 3 sets of boards, you passed the set of boards during your intern year, and did all the requirements to become a licensed physician, do I think that somehow taking the test that I took after I finished psych residency somehow means, that I'm so smart, and if I didn't do that, I wouldn't be smart? No. I do think going through the boards that we do in medical school and at the beginning of residency is hard, but I think that as far as your specialty, you learn what you need to learn in residency, and the board exam doesn't change that. When I finished residency, I studied for my board exam for like a month and took it, and it was sort of a silly test. Like, it didn't actually line up with clinical stuff that much. It was more like asking me questions based upon stuff in like the DSM or just like things that didn't even matter. So, I passed it and I can say I'm a board certified psychiatrist, but I have some friends that opted out of taking it, or they're thinking about taking it later on, and I don't think any differently of them. Like, I know where they trained. I know that they're smart. I would ask them questions about patients. It definitely is something that the legal system focuses on because, once again, it's an objective thing, right? Like, it's something that they can look at. So one way that this comes into play is I have patients that are required by law to be under the care of a board certified psychiatrist. And so they have to see me versus like a not board certified psychiatrist, or I guess like a nurse practitioner or something like that. But once again, I think it's more about completing residency and what it takes to complete residency, and not the board certification itself. That is just what is important to the legal system or what is important to the public, because they don't really have a good understanding of everything else. So I also got a lot of comments encouraging me to get into contact with different legal commentators here on YouTube, messages that you guys would like to see me collaborate with them and make a video. Just to put it out there, if I send them a DM, it's going to get lost in their messages, their message requests. Anyone who is anything on YouTube, Instagram, TikTok, whatever, like, they get so many message requests. So although I would love to do a collaboration, the way to see that happen, if it's something that you want, is to comment on those successful YouTubers' videos and ask them to check out my page and really ask them to reach out to me, because I'm probably not getting anywhere nearly as many message requests. If they have to comment, I'm gonna see it, type of thing. So if that's something you want to see, if there's anyone you want me to collaborate with, I would suggest, reaching out to them and putting it in the comments and manifesting it for me and for you. And the last thing I wanted to address, because I got so many comments about this, is that no, I don't use Law and Crime Network for commentary. I was simply noting that I use their videos to watch live footage of the trial. Essentially, I didn't actually really watch a lot of commentary in the trial at all because I was trying to be as unbiased as possible when I gave my impressions, and I didn't want to be biased by other people's thoughts. So I was just trying to stick to the live footage of the trial. Would I always do that? Probably not, but that's what I chose to do this time. So I just wanted to explain that. But that being said, if you liked this video and you haven't done so already, please subscribe. Please like, please comment. I would appreciate all of that, and thank you.